Gavotte in rondo form, bottom of page 32, continues on to page 33 by Jean-Francois Dandrieu. Okay, so as you can see in this piece, if you're scanning it right now, you'll see a very repetitive left hand. So you're going to focus all of your attention on the right hand and its shapes. So go ahead, check the meter, rhythm patterns, etc. Go right down through your analysis. Establish a tempo. Look over on page 33. You've got lots of sixteenths. Notice all those sixteenths. Be very careful that you don't play it, that you don't tap it too fast. Now, a couple things I want to talk about after you analyze. Go ahead and pause, please. Okay, so let's analyze that right hand. You'll notice that it's a very straight four-bar phrase, very repetitive. Now, when you, it's been nicely sectioned off. You can see every 8 measures has a repeat sign, so that makes it easy to understand the form. But your job is to compare the first 8 measures with the second 8 measures, with the third 8 measures, and with the fourth 8 measures. Are there any repetitions in that right-hand melodic content? Now, let me just also focus you. Let's take a look at the fingering. Notice when you begin, you're starting with the second finger on the F sharp. But in the pickup to the third bar, you'll notice it changes to a third finger. So you want to make sure that you make that change between the second finger on F sharp and the third finger on F sharp so that you can play this A dominant scale coming down without running out of fingers. So check that out before you actually play. When is there a 2 and when is there a 3? Okay. Now, also in addition, you think that, gee, it looks like mainly scales, but make sure that you see when the motion is scalar and when it is skipping. Notice in the first bar, of course, it skips, but then when we look at the third measure, it does step down. Moving into the second 4 bars up at the top of 34, it looks very similar. Does it look exact? No, not quite. Toward the end of the 7th bar, you'll see you've lost that scale pattern, and so that it can end on the tonic D. Moving into the first couplet, the third and fourth phrase, make the comparison. Ooh, we've really changed the melodic content in that first bar of the first couplet. So check that out. Notice, in fact, this really changes in the second phrase of this second section. You've got a lot of sixteenths. Starts with the F sharp, which we do a lot. We start with the median F sharp in this tune, but the content does change, so do check that out. Moving on to the second couplet in the middle of page 33. Now you're not starting on the F sharp anymore, of course. You're starting on the tonic D. Notice how the pattern goes down and steps right up and comes right back down again. So you're really not going anywhere at the beginning of this second couplet. Toward the end of that phrase, you've got the pattern again, falls down, falls up, and falls down, steps up, and falls down, but this time starts on the B instead of the D. In the repetition, you think, okay, second phrase of the second couplet looks like I'm beginning with that D descending pattern, but it repeats itself a couple times and then moves on to G. Back to the D, 4-note scalar pattern, then the B, and then ends up with the tonic. So focus your attention again on how the melodic content changes.